What is going on, everyone? We're talking TNA Impact Wrestling, and yeah, it's been a while. It has. It's been a while since we've had a legit TNA show, and I feel like they really, the, the whole day I was excited, and I feel like they really did a good job of letting my excitement not be like let down or anything. Because there were a lot of exciting moments in this show, and there were a lot of moments that weren't really expected. Especially a couple of moments that I didn't really expect. So we started out with a brawl, just a straight up brawl, to start out the show, which was a very interesting thing. Um, it kind of it showed you where you were, like as far as like who were the faces, who were the heels, who were on each other's sides and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of cool, and it kind of showed you, a little bit of how big the roster was, or I guess technically how small the roster is. Um, it was very interesting. It came on with a couple of people saying things. I didn't really catch this part because I caught the brawl part, but I didn't really catch the what they were saying a lot. I I just thought it was kind of cool, and I know, you know, they said some stuff like new year, new network, but same attitude, stuff like that. Basically just kind of kicking off the show in a way that was new. It was different. So to start out, you got the Rude Lashley face off, which makes a ton of sense. If you think about it, that's the biggest match. That's the match they've been promoting for the past however so many weeks, probably about the past month, really. Um, and it makes a lot of sense that they would start off with a face off between them. Um, Kenny King does not care. He comes up and just punches Bobby Roode right in the face. I can't remember exactly what he said. Um, did you catch what Kenny King said? He said something and then he punched Roode in the face, and then that started the brawl.
I don't remember what it was, but I just remember the whole it was weird because it was like they were all split, like the heels and then the faces. It was just um but I did really like the new like opening video thing that they had. That was pretty cool. I really like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. They had like a brand new like opening like theme song and everything. Like TNA hasn't really ever like recently hasn't been known for like a theme song, but I know like tonight they had like an actual theme song. It felt like
yeah, which was cool,
it did
but
it.
like if you were just coming into it, you would almost not know it was a wrestling show because it wasn't. It was just. It was cool though. I liked it.
Yeah. Did it feel different to you, like as far as like from the jump? For one, the brawl that started out the show, but like I felt like the arena just felt different. Like the production quality even felt a little different to me tonight.
It did. It the first of all the opening brawl I really liked. It almost felt a little too much though, just because it was kind of crazy. Like there was so much going on. It was it would be cool for the fans because you don't get experiences like that in wrestling anymore really where like they're fighting out in the crowd and everything like that. That was pretty cool, but it was definitely different. um and I don't know if it's just the different cameras, the different lighting, whatever.
Yeah, there were different like camera angles too tonight, right? Like there were like some camera angles we don't really see.
Yeah,
It was different.
there was a couple of mistakes too. I'll get to those a little later, but I did notice that Destination America is censoring like the fans now. When the
Oh
fans,
yeah.
yeah, I I didn't
Well,
really like that because it like cut out it completely cuts out the um audio. So like when they're in the middle of talking, you're missing stuff because Destination America is censoring what the fans are saying, and it's kind of annoying. That annoyed me a little bit, but I guess
oh
I'm
yeah.
used to it.
Yeah, it was weird because like we were getting some like just crazy chants tonight too though. Like some chants like I had never even heard of, especially like with TNA. We were getting like some ridiculous chants tonight.
Yeah, yeah, but
A couple.
it was cool though. There was a couple
Yeah.
exciting spots tonight that
Yeah, it was very interesting, and it was definitely an interesting start to the show with just a freaking just brawl. Um, a couple of things I took from it. I saw that the Bromans got a new attire. A ton of people had new attires tonight. If you didn't notice, I don't know if anyone noticed that, but I noticed a ton of people having just completely new attires and stuff like that. So that was interesting too, because it's like they're kind of hitting the reset button a little bit. So it's kind of cool to see those noticeable changes. Um, it seemed like Josh Matthews early on had some good chemistry with Taz. I don't know if they had worked together before or what. I was kind of wondering like were they going to have Josh Matthews as the color commentator or the main guy because I couldn't remember if he was a main guy in WWE or not. And plus he hadn't been there as long, so would they put him? But they put him at the forefront and they made him the basically the main guy, and he seemed like he knew his stuff as well. So it was really cool to that he knew his knowledge and everything.
yeah.
So, I mean, as the brawl was going down, Kurt Angle comes out and he questions security. He's like, security, what are you doing? Do you know what we are? Do you know what this is? This is New York City. This is Impact Wrestling. Um, Basically, he's running down his card tonight, and he says, low key, you will defend your title tonight. Terrence Terrell, you will defend your title tonight. Storm Abyss, you will defend your titles tonight. So basically, we're gonna have every title on the in TNA being defended tonight, which is kind of a cool thing and kind of cool to start out the new year with title matches. MVP comes out and he was already out there because obviously he was brawling with everyone else. And he says, "Are you going to announce to these fine people of New York City about how you were excited, how you excited me, or something like that?" I can't remember what he said. I had to a couple of times I couldn't remember what people said, so I had to go back and rewind. I don't know if you knew what he said, but basically he was kind of being very sarcastic with
Yeah.
him. Yeah. Um, we got a shut the bleep up chance, and it was literally shut the bleep up because they were obviously bleeping the fans there.
Yeah.
MVP says you played the board of directors. I beat you so I beat you down so bad you don't want to do it again. Basically, he's punking down Kurt Angle. He says you changed and you have no balls. He says professional wrestler Kurt, you're done. Um, and he says you know what you're right. I did step down as director of wrestling operations 15 minutes ago, and I was activated on the active roster for the show. And he says my final match before I return to the roster is Kurt Angle versus MVP in a street fight. So that was kind of cool that Kurt Angle was back, um, and it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with the operations role, or if they're going to just basically have someone in the background doing it and not have a visual person doing it. I think that would be cool if they did that because it's been a while since we've had that. What do you think of the whole brawl thing, the whole leading into the Kurt Angle versus MVP street fight? Any other thoughts? I know you had some thoughts before, but any more?
Yeah. Well, I like that they're taking away the director of operations thing. I felt like that was too much of a copy of WWE with Kane as director of operations. It, it, it just felt dumb. I did like the fact that even when Angle came out, you know, you you think the wrestlers are gonna stop fighting? No, they still kept brawling. They were still, even when he was going down the card, they were still going at it. I was like, this is awesome. Um, I was really excited. I forgot that Josh Matthews was gonna be on TNA now. I was really excited. And I guess now Mike Tenay is doing a new show. Um, I'll I'll talk more about that at the end of the review because there's a couple new things also that they're gonna have on Destination America. It's not just gonna be Impact Wrestling. TNA is doing a bunch of stuff, which I actually really like that they're doing multiple different shows on the network. So that'll get a lot more people interested in TNA. But I liked the opening. It was cool. It was cool that they reactivated. I don't know if it's going to be just for that one match, but they reactivated Kurt Angle. I thought he actually just retired because I thought he had like knee issues or whatever. I didn't think he would come back, but that was really cool. And I actually liked the match. It was slow, but it was a lot of like technical stuff, like submissions, reversals, which was cool. It's cool when you have two guys who really know how to do submissions and stuff and know how to reverse them, like Kurt Angle obviously does. MVP does too. So that was cool. But yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I like that. I also like, and I mentioned this before, but I like when they have a street fight and people come out in street clothes. Like you don't like, well, let's go get in our wrestling gear and have a street fight. I like that it's like, kind of just like random. Like it's a fight. You know what I mean? I like how they kind of play that. Um, Interesting thing, there were a couple of Impact Wrestling promos during commercials. Um, this during this show. What was interesting though is I saw like a few different ones. Like it wasn't like the same one over and over again. It was a couple of different ones that I actually noticed. But once we got back, I obviously saw one during the commercial after this match. That's why I wrote it down. Um, MVP was basically he locked in a knee. He was working the knee, which kind of scares me a little bit because it seems like every time you get close to Kurt Angle's knee, it gets hurt, and I just don't want him to get hurt again. But obviously, as a wrestler, you wanna work the leg, you wanna work, that previous injury, and obviously Kurt Angle's probably 100%. He's been out for a while, so he's probably doing pretty good. Angle rolls out of a power bomb to lock in the ankle lock. He's really good at his transitions into submission, especially the ankle lock. MVP reverses. He basically reverses the ankle lock back into a Kata Katami. If you don't know what that is, that's Samuel Shaw's submission hold that he puts people to sleep with. There was no Shaw tonight, and no. Speaking of Shaw, there was no like Shaw tonight, and no even like, not even in the brawl did I see Shaw. I don't know if you saw Shaw in the brawl, but I know they mentioned him, so he's still on the roster. He just wasn't there tonight. I hope they didn't do the same thing they did with him with Brittany. They just kicked him off together. No, can't do that. But after that, Angle reverses that back into another ankle lock, and basically Angle set up in the corner here. Players boot by MVP that gets reversed into an Angle slam for the win. You still got a chance for Kurt Angle. So it was really cool to see Kurt Angle back in the ring. You've pretty much given your thoughts, but you got anything else you'd like to say about this match?
No, it was just a good opening match to kind of give us an idea of what it's going to be like on. And I feel like all the matches tonight were kind of showing what it's going to be like on Destination America. A new attitude, they're building up that this is something really special. And I don't think they've done that with other, like, even when they moved to Spike from, I forgot where they were before that, I don't feel like they built it up as big as they have on this move to Destination America, which I like. But it was a good match.
Yeah, and it also showed that a street fight doesn't always have to involve weapons. You know what I mean? It basically felt like just a straight up fight in street clothes. So, it was kind of different in that aspect as well. So then we get MVP and Kenny King in a backstage segment. He was basically wondering where was Kenny King. Where are you? And Kenny King's like, I was with the girls, bro. Like he was pretty much just chilling out, getting the women. He wasn't on the card tonight, so he said, "What am I? Why am I gonna go out there? I'm with the girls back here. I gotta keep them company. Uh, I was just like, come on, you gotta help the man out. I mean, basically, MVP was like, you gotta help me out, man. That's Kurt Angle. He's a Hall of Famer or whatnot. And basically, he goes to find Lad. Any thoughts on that backstage segment there? Wasn't too much.
Um, I don't know. I felt like there was too many backstage segments with Angle or with MVP. It felt like it was all them tonight. That's the one.
Yeah, it was a ton of that. It
Yeah,
was a
that's
ton of
one
that.
of the
Yeah,
things that I didn't like. But I mean, they were building up Rude Lashley 3, so I mean, that's what they're gonna do. And I guess they're building up again. Like I told DJ before, my recording cut off, so I didn't get to see the ending, which I'm watching now. So, I guess they're building up a breakup between Lashley and MVP. So I don't know, but which is good. We've kind of felt it coming the past couple weeks when Impact was live, or live because we all know it's pre-recorded. We're not dumb, um, but yeah, yeah. I don't know. I forgot what I was saying, so I'm just gonna.
I think this show might have been live though. Speaking of that, because it was the first show of their tapings. I'm not really sure if it was live per se, but I'm not sure.
I I think
It was.
I don't know because if it was live, then those sensors are they're good. They
Oh yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah. Eh, remind me to talk about that at the end of the show because it was something that if you guys haven't seen it, Dixie Carter was on JR's podcast yesterday actually, and she talked about the perks of having it taped, and it really gives you a different perspective. Like as much as sometimes wrestling fans get mad because TNA's taped and all, it really gives you a different perspective on it. Just kind of the way she talked about it. So remind me to just kind of speak on that a little bit.
yeah.
But next, we got EC3. It was basically like an interview. It was kind of cool because they were showing someone else, and then EC3 obviously has to take the spotlight, right? So he's like, are you telling me we haven't featured the hardcore American icon all night for shame for shame? And he's in this freaking like spiffy suit, so obviously he wasn't in the brawl earlier. He was in like this. And the suit looked good though. It looked like he came from money or something. It looked like he was like the president of the company's nephew or something like that. I'm not really sure. But he's like basically.
That could nah.
So basically, he's talking about New Year's resolutions. Excuse me. Thinking of the pay-per-view back in the day. New Year's resolutions, and he's saying we're talking about commitments, which most of you have probably already broke them. Fatties. Did you hear him call the world fatties?
I was offended. I'm not fat.
I love EC3. He gets so much into his character, and that's what I love about him. I still can't believe he called the world fatties, though. That's messed up. He was like, I'm a man of honor and prestige. And I said that Rockstar Spud, I'm going to take you apart piece by piece by piece. I actually expected him to say by piece by piece by piece, but I didn't say it. But he didn't. He said it 3 times and left it at that. All right. New EC3? I don't know. He's basically saying, last time I took a piece, but this time I'm taking the whole thing. And he said, Tyrus, please secure our target. So any thoughts on the EC3 interview?
The only thing that I wrote down for that little interview there was Tyrus's beard is horrible. He looks Amish. It was a bad idea. It looks weird.
Yeah, I noticed the new beard. You said you wanted something different for him, so they decided a beard would be,
He needs the mustache too, but it just looks Amish. Like, no, he needs no. No. Whoever told him that was a good idea, it lied.
All right, so next, speaking of Mike Tenay from early on, where we said basically Josh Matthews and Taz were doing the kind of commentary play-by-play type of duties, Mike Tenay would get a little update on him, and basically they're like, Mike Tenay is doing the backstage type of stuff, the newer shows that they're gonna do, and he's hosting like Impact Wrestling Unlocked. Um, so basically, they were gonna go. They showed a little footage with him and James Storm, and they want to go in depth into what's going on with the Revolution and what's going on with James Storm in general. James Storm says he fooled the great professor. He said, that's what he wanted to do. He said, Tenay said, what are your motives? He said, management did not fulfill, and I am here to correct. Tenay asked about recruiting tactics. He said they have seen the light. They know that I am the one that will speak the truth to them. He was talking about cashing in the Feast of Fire case and long term with the Revolution. He says, we're not necessarily here for wins. We're not necessarily here for championships. We're here for blood. Did your mama warn you about the devil? She should have warned you about me. So it was an interesting promo or interview per se. I don't know if I agree with they're not there for belts, because I think in actuality they are there for belts. They're just trying to say, we're the Revolution, we're not here for belts. So I don't know. What do you think of the interview? Did it give you any more insight?
It got me a little bit more into the Revolution. When he said, did your mama warn you about the devil? She should have warned you about me. That really kind of reminded me of like Bray Wyatt. Like I really thought Bray Wyatt when he said that. Which it's basically their version of the Wyatt family. So you're gonna get that. You're gonna get the parallels. But it got me excited. I'm excited to see what's gonna go on. It's still weird for me to see James Storm and Abyss as tag team champions or in a tag team. It's weird, but I'll get used to it, I guess.
It was weird. What was also weird tonight, speaking of the Revolution, is they never mentioned Mahabali Shera at all. I saw him in the Brawl tonight, so I saw him in actual wrestling tights. So I was like, okay, we're gonna see Mahabali Shera with the Revolution tonight, right? No, we didn't. But it was just weird. They didn't mention him, and he wasn't there. And they've been building towards him getting in the Revolution. So is he like still in the barn, or what's going on with him right now? What are you thinking on that?
Well, if TNA is going to be anything like WWE, they could have just given up on that. WWE does that all the time. No, we're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to give them a new gimmick. But I was surprised they didn't do anything. Even when they did the best of TNA, they showed that. So I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? I don't know.
The weird part was that I saw him in the Brawl.
Yeah, I didn't see the Brawl.
That was the part that got me. So, speaking of the Revolution, we have the Revolution coming up versus the Wolves. So we got Abyss and James Storm going up against the Wolves. A rematch of kind of a rematch. It wasn't really a match before. Basically, it was the Wolves getting their rematch that's guaranteed to them in their contract. Storm pulls out his inner Miz and brings out both of the belts. Shout out to Miz right there. I don't know if you caught that, but I was like, all right. I was like, I like it. It makes sense. But I was like, it reminds me of Miz too. But obviously Storm's the leader, so he comes out to the ring with both of the belts. I like how they came out as kind of like a unit tonight. Like usually they would kind of just like randomly just walk out, but tonight they felt more of like a group, just with Abyss in the background and Manic and on the sides and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool how they came out like a unit tonight. The Hardys came out during this match, and it was kind of interesting to see what they were gonna do with that. So the Wolves, they get James Storm and Abyss outside of the ring. They go for suicide dive after suicide dive after suicide dive after suicide dive. They go for 4 of them. They were hyped tonight. They were ready. I think the Wolves had new tattoos as well on their chest. They had the claw type of tattoo. I think it was a tattoo. I don't think it was paint because it was red. So I don't think it was actual any type of paint or anything. But after that, we get a drop toe hold into an elbow for a near fall by the Wolves. Nice double team move there. Choke slam on the apron by Abyss on Davey Richards. Eddie Edwards gets the hot tag, but Abyss says, no, bruh. And he shuts that mug down. He just shuts it down. Backpack suplex by Eddie Edwards for a near fall. Abyss decides, you know what, double choke slam time, but they backflip out of it and gets hit with double super kicks. It's a super kick party. No, it's not a super kick party, but close enough. Backstabber into the double foot stomp on James Storm for the near fall. Slingshot into DDT double team by the Revolution. That was a really good double team by the Revolution. I like that one. I'm not sure if you caught that one, but that was one I really liked. Handspring elbow, reversed into the shock treatment. Really good job by Abyss and Davey Richards here. Like, just as far as how Abyss caught him, I really like the way that happened there. The Hardys attack Manic and Sonata as they try to get involved. But Abyss decides he wants to grab the cowbell on a rope thing, that the noose. I don't even know what that thing is that James Storm carries out to the ring. But Abyss said, you know what, I'm going to use this thing because we got to retain these titles. So he grabs that, and the Hardys try to stop him. I think it was Jeff at this point trying to pull it away. But what happens is, basically, he gets pushed off because Abyss is so strong. Jeff Hardy gets pushed right into Eddie Edwards. Storms the super kick on Eddie Edwards for the win, and basically the Hardys cost the Wolves their rematch there. And next week we're going to get a match between them, kind of building a rivalry between those two teams. So, what you think of this match here? Overall, I think it had some good double team moves and some good like transitional stuff too. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. I was confused when the Hardys came out because I was like, what are they gonna do with them now? They've already had the tag team tournament with the Wolves how many times? What are they really gonna do with the Revolution? They've already been tag team champions. They don't need the titles. It just didn't really make sense to me. I was confused with Storm's new tights. Not really sure if I like them. They're weird. They don't seem to fit him, like his personality. I don't know. There was something about them that it threw me off. And those tattoos, I looked at first and I was like, do they have tattoos? I wasn't sure if it was paint or not, but it looked like actual tattoos, which, I mean, they're going all in with their gimmick and everything, I guess. But yeah, it's a good match. I feel like any match that the Wolves are in is a good match because they're just naturally good. They know how to carry a tag team match. And I think that's from them being, in Ring of Honor. Obviously, when you're in Ring of Honor, you learn so much more, I feel like. But I'm excited to see what TNA is going to do with the tag team division in 2015. Hopefully, they kind of revamp it and get it going to what it used to be, back in the day, back like 2010, 2011. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with it because they don't, like we've said before, they don't really have a lot of tag teams. So I don't know. Broman's got a new tight, so their championship run, bro, maybe no, probably not. But I don't know. I like the Bromans. I like the Bromans. But next we get a video package on Rude Lashley 1, where Lashley won with the spear. This was after Rude had tweaked his knee. really with this, they're basically building towards the main event tonight. That was the main thing. Like this show was kind of built like a pay-per-view a little bit, and where like it had that main match, then it had all its little follow-up matches and stuff like that. And basically they were building towards the main event tonight. I don't. I take it you don't have any thoughts about that.
No, not really.
Nothing really. I mean, yeah, nothing really there. Just building. Next we got EC3, and he says basically there's unfinished business that needs to get caught by this camera, basically, as they're going to commercial. Then when we come back, MVP is talking to Lashley, and he says, "You're nothing without me. I run this. This ain't about you," is what Lashley says as he pins him against the wall. "This ain't about you. It's about me and getting my title back." Something to the effect of that. Before we get to EC3 and the ridiculousness that I saw of EC3 tonight, any thoughts on those two things? The EC3 unfinished business thing and the MVP and Lashley discussion?
No, again, too much of them in the back tonight. Even with them building up to the main event, it just felt like it was way too much of them in the back. There's other storylines that they could have kind of put a light on, I think that's a downfall of them trying to get new viewers on Destination America. They're just going to think, oh, this whole thing is about these guys, and it's really not, But it was okay. It built up what it needed to, I guess. So, and I'm just watching the end now, and I'm really confused. Why?
I feel you. Next we got EC3 doing a little thing with Jeremy Borash, Rockstar Spud, Tyrus, and all of that. EC3 comes out and he says, "The year of our Lord of Wrestling, EC3. When I sing, it's the gospel. It's true. When I say I'm undefeated, fact. When I say I'm unbeaten for 15 months, fact. When I say 2015 is the year I become TNA World Champion, oh, oh, good God, baby, that's a fact." You gotta listen to him say that last little piece. It was so funny. I liked it. I don't even know. I don't know if he was bringing out his inner Big E there or what. Like he brought out Big E and Tyson Kidd in the same thing there. So we get the "You Can't Wrestle" chance, obviously, as EC3 coming out there, and he plays to the crowd. He actually goes to one crowd member, hands him the mic, and he says, "You can't wrestle." He says, "I disagree." The same thing he always does, but it was cool that he did it with one particular fan this time. He says he's got business to take care of. He says, "Rockstar Spud, come out here so we can finish this, and for your due, and so you can get your due and proper." Something. He's saying a lot of words there. We get "We Want Spud" chants, and EC3 says, "Me too. We want Spud. I agree," says EC3. So still playing with the fans there. Tyrus carries Spud out by his belt, just carrying him like he's a little child. I don't know if you heard this, but there was at least one person in the building saying, "Call my mama," chanting "Call my mama," or "Call your mama." It was to Tyrus, obviously. I think you're gonna get that. Did you get it? You got it?
I didn't hear that, but I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Yeah, there was. I think it was like one guy. It was like, "Call your mama." Like it was pretty funny. So basically, Spud's pretty much out of it because he got power slammed on the way down to the ring. He says, "Let the scalping begin." And then JB says, "Don't you think you've done enough?" He says, "Stand down, JB. JB, stand down." He did that. It was like Vince McMahon-esque here tonight. There was a lot of crazy things going on. There was a lot of ends on that down. He let know. But Jeremy Borash, he ain't no punk. He ain't gonna take it. He smacks EC3, and you don't do that now. Come on, come on. Um, and basically, EC3 is not gonna take that. He pushes him into the corner. Tyrus basically hits him with a splash and squishes him, squishes all the life out of him there, and he cuts JB's hair. Just building more heel heat for EC3. I don't like these hair spots. It's too much for me. I don't know if the hair is just too delicate. I mean, I don't have much of it, so I don't ain't real room to talk. But you know what I mean. I don't really know. It's just the hair thing's just too much for me sometimes. I don't know why. What'd you think of this whole thing? At least they didn't touch the mane of Rockstar Spud, right?
Well, yeah. That's all that really matters. First of all, apparently 2015 is both the year of Revolution, because in the intro video to the show, James Storm said that this year is the year of Revolution, and also it's the year of EC3. So, you know, which one is the truth? I need to know what the year is. I need to know. Also, I love how EC3 was stealing Tyson Kidd's fact. I feel like there's going to be a lawsuit there. I don't know. And did you catch this when Jeremy Borash hit EC3? They didn't even have the camera angle showing it. They had it on his hand with the mic.
Yeah, because I thought he hit him with the microphone.
I was like, what are you doing? We didn't even actually see him get hit. Like, what? That was one goof up that they had. But I kind of do like that he shaved Jeremy Borash, because that gives him a little bit more heel heat, because JB isn't a wrestler. He's a commentator. You know, so it's like he's in a way defenseless, you know. So that just kind of builds up the heat even more. I'm excited to see. I'm waiting for that moment when Rockstar Spud finally wins, because you know, then they're finally gonna sell the suits on TNAShop.com. It's happening. It's gonna happen.
All right. It was very interesting. I think that they are trying to build heel heat, because JB was even more defenseless because there really was no technical authority figure tonight either, with Kurt Angle stepping down. So there we go. So next we get another backstage segment with MVP and Kenny King. I don't know if you guessed it before I even said it, but you probably did, because there's been a ton of that tonight. You know, Kenny King's like, he put his hands on you. MVP's like, you know what, I'm fed up with TNA. I'm fed up with these flat scans, which he says all the time now. I don't know where he came up with that, but he says it a lot now. He says it almost every night. Flat scans. I'm going to have to start using that. He said it's time to go back to our roots. He probably mentioned something about a family in this, but I couldn't really hear it because it was kind of low. I went back and watched it to kind of listen to it again, but I didn't really get all of it. So after that, we get highlights of Rude Lashley 2, where Lashley won via leverage pin. Something I thought was really fluky at the time, and I still think it is. So, any thoughts on the backstage segment or the Rude Lashley 2 before we get into the next match? Yeah, the next match. So.
No, again, too much backup, build up, too much of them back there. We've already seen replays of Rude Lashley 1 and 2 like 800 times. I don't need to see it again. I know what happened. We all know what happened. We know what happened. You don't need to.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So next we got an X Division title match. Woo woo! Everybody's excited. I can see the excitement in your faces, even though I can't see your faces, but I can see it, right? Yeah. All right. So we got Low Ki going up against unnamed challenger number 1, and it was not Blue Pants. Low Ki going up against Austin Aries. I thought this was pretty cool. Um, you'll under it was really weird. The ending to this was really weird as far as the results. So let's run this down. So we got a nice little video package as Low Ki was coming out on the X Division and on like how the X Division came about a little bit. It was just a little. It was short enough to kind of let you know what the X Division was if you haven't never seen it, and it was long enough to give you some information too. It was really technical to start out a little bit. Then we get some chops getting exchanged by both competitors. Double drop kick. I mean, the double kick by Low Ki, the typical double kick that he does. The torpedo dive by Aries. I think he may be like the fastest at the suicide dive. Like it looks like he's going so fast. And I don't know if it's because he's going between the middle and bottom rope or what, but like it looks like he's going really fast when he hits them.
Yeah.
We get the brain buster into the flight of the dragon submission, is what it's called. He didn't get to hit the brain buster, but he reversed it into a nice flight of dragon submission. It's kind of like when you set up somebody for the backpack suplex, but except they got a headlock on you from the on top of your back position. It's a pretty cool looking move. The discus forearm. Low Ki's in the corner. He gets hit by a discus forearm and then a brainbuster by Austin Aries. And Austin Aries is your new X Division champion. I wasn't upset about it because anytime Austin Aries is the champion, it's a good thing. But I was like, wait a minute, didn't Low Ki just win the title? Like when Samoa Joe gave it up, he just won it. Why don't you just give it to Aries before? Later on, you'll kind of know why he lost the title, but still, it didn't make a lot of sense for me. What'd you think of this match? I thought it was pretty good.
It was good. I feel like anytime Low Ki and Austin Aries have a match, it's always an awesome match. They're two of TNA originals. They know the X Division. They know what fans like to see. They know how to pull off these moves and stuff like that. One thing I did like, not specifically about this match, but during the match, Josh Matthews mentioned about Ring of Honor, saying that Low Ki was the first ever Ring of Honor World Champion, and also he mentioned that Taz's new podcast is going to feature WWE Hall of Famer Edge, which I thought was cool because WWE would never mention other companies during their show, ever. So it was just cool that they mentioned those things. Just little point that I liked. And it kind of shows their history. It shows Low Ki's history. Also, gave Taz's podcast a little plug there. But again, this is an awesome match. Anytime these two have matches, you're guaranteed to have a good match. You're never. I don't think Low Ki or Austin Aries have ever really had a bad match together or against other opponents. They're just that good. So I really like this match. Hopefully we'll see more. This is one that I wouldn't mind seeing, like Low Ki Aries 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, well after that ending tonight, I don't know what we're gonna see with with a particular guy. I don't want to spoil it yet, but I mean if you haven't seen the show, you'll know before the end of the when I get to the main event. And I also like that they mentioned Ring of Honor too, because you can mention their history without people being like, oh, well, let me turn this off and go watch Ring of Honor. Like that's not necessarily what people are gonna do. Like people, it makes people think of Ring of Honor, but it doesn't mean that they're gonna be like, and plus WWE thinks they're the only company ever. So as they'll tell you in NXT, they'll be like, this is the only company that really matters. So
And yet they're taking all the superstars from Ring of Honor,
But after that, we get another title match is what I'm trying to say, and it's the Knockouts Battle Royal. But before that, guess who's back? Everybody's in the ring, and Robbie E is back. And I was thinking,
Ooh.
obviously he's gonna be in the Battle Royal, and he's probably gonna win it because he's back. Boom, right? Obviously. But he wasn't in the Battle Royal, unfortunately. Taryn Terrell comes out. I don't know if you noticed this, but it was a new championship belt. They did mention that. I like it. I like it. It was very interesting. It was interesting without it being too like girly or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it felt like it was a title belt. Like I don't know. Anyway, so Rebel is eliminated by the Botox injection. Madison Rain is eliminated by Havoc. It was a clothesline. Love is eliminated by Taryn Terrell. Brooke Tessmacher comes out and attacks Robbie E, her supposed ex. But I was thinking, why isn't she in this battle royal? She's running around and attacking people, so she should probably be in this battle royal. It would make a lot of sense. But never mind. They didn't want her in it, I guess. Terrell gets the win by eliminating Havoc and Gail Kim, some simultaneously. But what about Velvet Sky? I was expecting Velvet Sky to get up and eliminate her randomly, but she didn't. I don't know if you caught when Velvet Sky was eliminated, but I did not. I did not see her get eliminated, and then I look up and Terrence Terrell's won.
I didn't either.
Havoc after the match. Oh, I'll talk about after the match in a second. You can go ahead and.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't see that. I didn't see her get eliminated. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, wait.
But I personally like the old, well not old, but the previous belt with the white strap. I just felt like it was different. This one just kind of looks, I don't know. It's cool, but I feel like the knockouts with the white, it kind of stood out more that it is specifically their belt when it was at least a white leather strap. But they're changing. I'm surprised they didn't change the other belts again with the change to the new network and everything.
Yeah.
But again, money. Obviously it's costs money to do that. So maybe not. I was excited that we saw Brooke. Haven't seen her in a while. We saw her a while back with that little Aces and Eights when she was Bully's girlfriend. But we really haven't seen her too much in a while. So hopefully she's coming back to the main roster. Hopefully. But I'm excited for this the after the match. I was quite it was an OMG moment for me.
Yeah, it was. Havoc is basically beating down Taryn Terrell, and the lights turn off. And guess who it is? The icon. No, it was not Sting. It was not Sting, and it was not The Undertaker.
Oh no.
it wasn't AJ either. The lights turn off, and they come back on, and awesome freaking Kong is in the ring staring down Havoc. Oh man, that was exciting because it was unexpected once again, and another unexpected moment for the night. I didn't know Awesome Kong was even coming back to TNA. I thought she had something with maybe WWE, but then I had heard something about that it fizzled out because she was pregnant before or something. I wasn't really sure what happened there because she was supposed to be big in WWE, then didn't happen, and now she's back in TNA, which I'm very happy about. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with her. What's your thoughts on the post-match shenanigans?
Well, I remember back when she was signed to WWE, and she was there for a very short period of time before she got pregnant. And I remember before she left, she was in a storyline with this shows how long ago it was. She was in a storyline with Lay Cool. Um, that was a while ago. So she's been out for a while. I mean, probably obviously because I mean she had a kid, so you know you want to spend time with your kids when they're young. You know, especially if you get the chance to, if you're in the wrestling business because you're on the road so many days a year. She probably wanted to take as much time with her family as she could. And I don't feel like WWE really knew what to do with her. It just felt like they weren't sure what to do with her at that time. And she's been with TNA for so long before. I think she was actually an original on TNA.
Yeah, yeah, she was in that first match.
Yeah,
Because she had a wardrobe malfunction in that
yeah,
match. Yeah.
yeah, I remember that. So I mean, at least TNA knows, you know, they appreciate her, they know what to do with her, and it's gonna be good to actually have Awesome Kong and Havoc, you know, they'll be able to work together so much better. You know, they're basically the same size, you know, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, and plus with TNA, you know, you get a little bit more time because they're not on the road constantly.
Yeah.
Because they tape their show, so you don't really get. And from what I heard, Dixie Carter said something about they're not going to do as much touring this year. Um, so that'll give her a little bit more time too. So it makes a lot of sense that she came to TNA because she's going to have that time to spend with her child too, and be able to do what she loves to do. So after that, Taryn Terrell did retain her Knockouts title. We get Bobby Lashley. I guess he's just Lashley now. I don't know what it is with wrestling companies and taking away first names. They're just not cool enough anymore, I guess. We got Lashley versus Bobby Roode for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This was obviously Lashley Roode 3. Um, and I was excited going into it. So the match starts out with basically starts out at blows. It starts out with punches and such. Lashley takes control with some power and aggression. Rude looks to take control with a hip toss. He tries to lock in the crossface. It gets reversed, but then he eventually gets that locked in. Rude takes flight outside takes the fight outside with a slingshot cross body. We've seen Rude do that more often than he used to do it. I don't actually remember Rude even being that type of a guy, but I think recently, especially, he's decided to do some slingshots every once in a while. MVP and Kenny King, we see him in the corner with some masked men. We don't know who these guys are at this point. They have like the closer shot was like those Richard Nixon masks that people used to wear all the time. That's what it looked like now that I think about it. But we get back to the match. We get a diving neck breaker by Bobby Roode for a near fall. Spine buster. The double R Triple H spine buster by Bobby Roode for a near fall. Rude bomb reversed into a power slam. That typical signature power slam by Bobby Lashley for a near fall. Rude with a nice sit out power bomb that rendered a near fall as well. And then Lashley, they pulling out the Stone Cold versus The Rock moves here. Lashley hits the Rude bomb on Rude, and we get a near fall there. The spear was reversed into a spear by Bobby Roode. And then we see something weird here. MVP comes out with what he calls the family. And it's some guys in some Richard Nixon masks, and him and Kenny King. So it was interesting. Lashley goes with the leverage pin into the crossface. There was a sequence of reversals that led to a Rude bomb for a near fall. Rude puts Lashley into the crossface. The ref gets pulled out by one of the masked men because it looks like Lashley's about to tap. Angle tries to come out and save the day, but he gets beat down by Richard Nixon lookalikes. Rude is surrounded. He is surrounded by two people in masks there, which he's not really surrounded because it is a six-sided ring, like we said. He's got four other sides he could go out of, but let's act like he's actually surrounded here. He's surrounded. He can't get out. What is he gonna do? They take the mask off, and it's actually Richard Nixon, two of them. No, they take the mask off, and it is Samoa Joe
It's Obama.
and Low Key. Yeah, definitely Obama and George Bush. No, it was Low Key and Samoa Joe, of all people, to be working with MVP. Why would they be doing it? Then what happens is, and let's mind you that the ref is down. The weird part about this is the ref didn't stop this match when he got back up. You would think if you just get beat down, you're going to stop the match when you get back up. Nah. Brian Hebner says, I am the son of the greatest referee of all time. This match will continue, basically. And basically, Iwa comes in, and he has the chair. He has the chair, and I'm thinking, he's going to do it, isn't he? He's going to do it, isn't he? He's standing there with Rude. They're fighting off Low Key and Samoa Joe, and he hits Bobby Roode in the gut with the chair. Lashley comes back in to hit the spear to win the belt. And Lashley is your TNA World Heavyweight Champion again. One thing I took from this is, for one, when you're gonna, like, the swerve was, you didn't really expect it, which I liked, but anytime someone comes in with a chair and just stands there and looks at the people he's supposed to be taking out, I'm thinking there's gonna be a turn. Wrestling companies, take note. You gotta be better about that. You know, when someone comes in to take away, to try to be the cavalry or whatever, they go hitting ropes with chairs and stuff. They go hitting the ropes, like swinging at the ropes like they're gonna come and get you. Like, all you have to do is change it up a little bit. Don't let them come into the ring, sit there, turn around, and then hit the guy. Like, we know it's coming. It's happened a lot. I think they need to do a little better with the turns. Like, I think any wrestling company needs to do that, honestly, because a lot of times that's what happens, right? They just sit there, they stand there for a second, they look over, and then they hit you. Like, it just, I don't know, it's a little predictable. I don't know what they're gonna do with the Low Key Samoa Joe thing. It does make sense that Low Key lost the title tonight, just because he's in this faction now. But what are they gonna do with the two factions? It's supposed to be the Revolution's year, so now is it the family or whatever we're calling them? Is it their year now, or what's going on? I don't really know what to expect. But what are your thoughts on the match and the ending swerve?
The match, it was a good match, but you know me, I don't like when they do, Rude Lashley 1, 2, 3, whatever. It just gets old to me. And I really hope this was the last of the Rude Lashley feud.
I got one more question for you too, by the way.
What?
And I just forgot it, so never mind.
All right. If you remember, let me know. When he came out with the family, I initially was like, because I just saw guys with like hoodies on and the mask, and I was like, they're bringing Aces and Eights back again. I was like, no, I don't want that again. It lasted too long. No. And then I kind of hoped it was somebody new, like somebody that maybe got released from like WWE or Ring of Honor, somebody that would really be like, whoa, oh my god, I can't believe they're here. When it was revealed that it was Low Key and Samoa Joe, it was surprising because they're generally faces, so it was that swerve, but it was kind of like, oh, well, we just saw them tonight. Oh, okay. Um, and then with EY, that was kind of a surprise to me. Um, I like when you mentioned that, it's you can tell when they're gonna do a turn with the chairs. I mean, even when Seth Rollins did the turn, you could tell it was happening when he brought the chair in and wasn't doing any. Like, you just know it. And there's little things that they can tweak to make it more believable. Um,
Yeah, I mean, look, all they have to do is you see Samoa Joe over there, you go try to hit him with the chair, you go back, you try to hit Low Ki with the chair, you turn right around and you hit Rude with the chair. That's all you got to do. And we're not expecting it, like we're thinking you're trying to save the day. Like, don't think about it so much. I feel like they're thinking about it too much. Like,
yeah, and I don't know how I feel about him as a heel. I It's just weird.
you know what's interesting to me though about that? I was listening to JR's podcast, and I can't remember if it was him or it may have been somebody else. Um, but that seems to be the only wrestling thing I kind of listened to this week. But I was listening to his podcast, and I'm pretty sure he said something about um, there's supposed to you typically there's only one main turn for you. Like typically there's only for a wrestling superstar there should only be one big turn. Um, is what he said. And I feel like that's what this was. This was EY's big turn. Um, because we've always seen EY as that lovable guy, that guy that the fans could always get behind, that guy that had so much heart and whatnot. So I don't know how they're gonna do it with him though, because we've seen so much of the same EY for so long. So I'm interested to see how they're gonna do it, because I feel
Yeah,
like he's good enough on the mic to do it, but I don't know. Does it really entail his character either?
yeah. And you know, he back in the day when he was in Team Canada, he was technically a heel because Team Canada was a heel faction. But even then, he was the kind of goofball, lovable. He wasn't really a heel heel. He was still that funny guy in that faction. So I just don't know. I feel like he's going to be one of those heels. Like WWE has done this where they've tried to make somebody who's naturally a face a heel, and the fans still just love him so much that they have to switch him back to a face again.
Was it
Um,
kind of like Daniel Bryan when they did it with Daniel Bryan?
yeah, exactly. They just love him too much that.
And I and trust me, I hated saying that with the comparisons before, but it's, yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be weird about that. I don't know. But I think he's not like a John Cena where it's not possible for him to switch to a heel. I feel like with a guy like John Cena, he's way too super Cena, like Superman, that it just would never work for him to switch from a heel at this point. Um, EY, I think he could, if they do it right, he could do it. It's possible. I don't think it'll work out too well, but it's impossible. So
Do you think this makes Rude's his win? Because his win before, to me, if I'm looking from the outside looking in, it looks like he really didn't deserve the title because of the way he won last time. So does it make it look even worse now? Because he didn't. I mean, he had like not even a long title run. Basically, he won the title. They were off TV for a while, and then he loses it. Like I don't. My only thing is, why did they do it? I don't know. I just don't know what to think, because it's like Rude just won the title. It seemed like they were gonna make him basically like the undisputed face, which they kind of are with EY turning heel. But still, it's weird like that they did him that way. I,
yeah,
I'm
and I almost still don't. Rude is one of those guys that I never really see 100% as a face. Even when he's pushed as a face, because he's been a heel so many times and he works so well as a heel. I feel like Bobby Roode is almost like Randy Orton, and WWE will try to push him as a face, but he works so much better as a heel. Um, and I feel like they both like being heels more than they like being faces because, and a lot of wrestlers will tell you that it's easier to be a heel than it is a face because you can easily, you know, insult the fans or something, or it's harder to be that good guy all the time. And I feel like it's just weird for me to. I always see him as a heel, even when he's a face. So it's just confusing to me.
It, it definitely was unpredictable though. Like, cause I came into the night thinking, okay, I know it's gonna be a good match, but Rude's gonna win, cause obviously, they're gonna keep the belt with him. He just wanted it. So I do like that it was unpredictable. That I just don't know what they're gonna do with Lashley's run now, because it still feels like, what about the dissension we just had early on and we've had over the past couple of weeks
Yeah,
with MVP and them? Like, what's up with that? Like, are they just all good now? Because it didn't really feel like Lashley knew anything about this either. They didn't really play it that way, but if you look at it, it's like, how would he really know anything about this? Like, this was a Kenny King MVP discussion. I don't know where they're gonna go with this.
and
It's interesting.
yeah, and I feel like Bobby Lashley himself is more of either a face or a neutral. I don't feel like he doesn't hit me as really a heel, you know? Um, I thought they were going to come out and attack him and kind of.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, because they've had that kind of friction there. So I was like, obviously they're gonna come out and screw Lashley, but I don't know how that's gonna put Rude over either.
Unless now, next week, East or MVP is like, hey, we helped you, now you owe us, kind of a thing, because Lashley wanted the title back. So unless they do something like that, I don't really know what they're gonna do with this.
Yeah, I don't know, because I I don't know who they're gonna push now, because it seems like it's gonna cause a push with MVP more than anything, because he's kind of the leader of this group. Um, it wouldn't make any sense for them to push like Samoa Joe and Low Key. They just kind of came into it. And MVP's the one that really wants the belt more than anything. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Because if they go that route, it feels like they're gonna go Lashley MVP. Which, not that I'm saying I'm not gonna be excited to see it, but plus they still got Angle MVP too. So there's a lot of different ways they can go with it. I just don't know where they're gonna go with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that could be a good thing that they have a bunch of different ways they could go with it, so it kind of keeps us guessing. But at the same time, it could be a bad thing where they kind of don't know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'll talk about the Dixie Carter stuff I was going to talk about with the live versus taped stuff. She was on JR's podcast, and if you go to, I think it's on podcast one. So if you go look up the Ross Report, you can go and listen to the whole thing. It was a pretty good podcast. She was talking about the relaunching and everything. Just TNA right now. That's kind of what she was talking about. They even talked about AJ Styles and would he ever come back and stuff like that. But as far as the taped and live shows thing, she kind of gave me a different perspective on it, because you know even JR admitted that live live shows isn't really the best thing for any wrestling company anymore. Um, is what he said. So as far as Dixie Carter's concerned, she basically said, you know, she doesn't think that their live shows, for one, it's going to cost them more, and for two, with the way they can produce a tape show, they can produce a tape show much better than they'd be able to produce a live show. She feels like right now. Um, so you'd have to listen to her entire showing on that, because it was very interesting. just her point on it, and it kind of gives you a different perspective on it too. Just as far as, you know, I want this live. I want this live. You know, I think the only bad part about it being taped, because technically it is live to us as long as we don't know what's happening. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like the only bad thing about it being taped is spoilers, and really you can't do much about that. And if you want to go watch, go read the spoilers, that's up to you. That's why I try my best to stay away from it. I like the news and rumor stuff to a point, but I still like to be surprised too. Um,
I
but
feel like I feel like the people who complain about it not being live and it was ruined because of news and spoilers and stuff. That's your own fault for looking up at the spoilers. You don't have to look up the spoilers. They're not pushing them in your face, you know. Uh, so I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if they're gonna do, as long as they're gonna keep doing good shows, I don't have a problem with them being taped.
yeah, because I mean, Ring of Honor tapes their shows.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's funny because people don't complain about that, but like, it feels like anything TNA does, it just gets complaint after complaint after complaint, regardless of what they do.
yeah. I
It's
I don't know. I can't argue that too much because I complain about TNA occasionally, but some people
I
just
mean,
make
I
stupid.
think complaining is fine when you have a legitimate complaint.
Yeah,
But when you don't have a complaint, I mean, it's just like saying WWE sucks because of some kind of stupid reason, because they won't push who you want them to push or something. Like, not necessarily that, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
Like, you don't have a legit reason for complaining.
yeah.
But what were your overall thoughts on the show? What'd you think overall?
Um, I felt like it could have been better for the first show on Destination America, but it wasn't. It was good too. It wasn't bad. Just it could have been better. I did like that they had a couple returns and things like that. That was cool. Um, but all in all, it got me excited for Impact on Destination America. Hopefully, they fix some things that were technical difficulties that they had. Hopefully, Destination America finds a better way to censor things instead of just kind of completely cutting out the audio. And I don't really think they need to censor things. I mean, you know, the majority of us are adults watching this. The kids that are watching it, they're gonna hear the F bomb at school anyway. So really, come on. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a parent, but that's how I'm gonna be when I'm a parent. They're gonna learn it someplace, so might as well be when they're watching this at home. I don't know, but a good show. I'm excited. A couple other things I wanted to mention was like I said, TNA is going to be doing other shows. They have another show coming up. I think, let me see, I have it recorded. Saturday at 11 a.m. and noon, they're going to have Impact Wrestling Greatest, that is what they're calling it. The best of Kurt Angle, the best of Kurt Angle 1 and 2, and then, so they're going to have different things like that. So I guess their best matches, I guess. I don't know. I think they're going to do one on Sting, a couple other guys. So that's going to be a good addition to the TNA on Destination America thing. Best of Rob Van Dam too. They're going to have. So that's cool. I'm excited to see what other shows that they're going to have. Because I feel like Destination America is giving them more TV time. They're giving them more promotion, which is going to be cool for them. Help build the company. Yeah.
Yeah, and plus you got to think Destination America wants to build its brand as a channel too. So they're gonna do whatever they can to, especially bring in viewers. Dixie Carter mentioned that in her interview too. Is Destination America was gonna do whatever they need to do to get TNA on there, and she said she wanted somebody with that type of passion that was gonna promote TNA, not only promote TNA, but if TNA had different shows, and I think they're actually gonna show TNA again, like not as far as like at 11 tonight, but they're gonna show it at different times too. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was a good show. I agree with you. It could have been better, but you know, it wasn't bad nonetheless. I think it had its moments where it was like, okay, I'm interested now. It had its moments where it was like, um, what's going to happen next. It had its moments to kind of keep you intrigued as well. And the starting to the show with the big brawl was also an intriguing thing. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do in 2015. So, any videos that you were thinking of that are coming sometime soon? As soon as I get the.
I don't know. We have the obvious ones, the NXT. I don't even know when the next pay-per-view is. I don't think it's
25th. The 25th.
Yeah, 25th. So that'll be coming up. I know we had an idea, but I don't remember what it was. I know I mentioned something to you, but I don't remember what I mentioned.
It was a top 5 involving TNA, but I can't. But you had a couple of different ideas for it.
Yeah, we could do that, I guess, when we have time, but that'll take us giving time to actually write down our list and stuff.
Also, we got a WWE Network video coming up soon too, because I actually had the network for longer than a week. So
yeah,
do that too.
We can give the pros and cons of the network from somebody who isn't going to be a jackass about it. I feel like a lot of the reviewers that review the network and kind of talk down about it, they're too critical about it. Like, for all you're getting on the network for $9.99, it is an amazing deal. It really is, But again, this is a TNA review. We're not talking about that, but we'll get to that. We'll do that video sometime, and then we'll think of other videos. Hopefully, one of these days we'll have another host on here because we've been trying to get guests. And
yeah, I know. We try. Like we ask them, they're like, yeah, we'll come on, and then they're like, never mind. They're just like they just don't show up, and I'm like, oh well, the show must go on.
We used to have another host, but he kind of disappeared.
Oh yeah, he did. But hopefully with me, I'm gonna be living with him soon, so hopefully, he'll come back at more than he has. But feel free to follow me on Twitter if you like. Share the video, that would be nice. Retweet the video. If you have me on Twitter, you can retweet it. You can just retweet it, and that will be fine. If you got any comments on what you thought about the show, the swerve, the everything, whatever happened tonight, feel free to, let us know, and I'll respond to your comment because I don't get a lot anyway. So I respond to everyone's comments. I hope you guys enjoyed. I really did. Next video tomorrow on the NXT review, I will be shouting out new subscribers, which I don't really. I'm getting confused because it goes up and then it goes back down one. It'll go up one, then I'll go down one. And I get confused a lot of times. But I know I got some names on there that I haven't shouted out yet, so I will shout them out. Quit confusing me. Just subscribe and don't unsubscribe, darn it. But I love you guys anyway, regardless of how you treat me. And I'll talk to you guys later.